Hey, where are you at, Paul? No,
I'm right here. You, you,
you're
you
not.
know what it is? I am,
You ain't doing his
it's the
job,
over.
guys. You ain't doing your job.
I'm doing my job.
Hi, guys. Hi, guys. Let me do what Paul's meant to be doing. Yeah. Where are
I
you
done
at?
it. It just is slow for some reason. See, I told you I done it. I was pressing it.
No, you didn't. I just actually did it. Anyway,
Oh
welcome,
my
welcome,
goodness
welcome
me. Yeah.
to all of
Hello,
you who are
everybody.
joining us.
You know how we go. Technical
No,
issues all the time, and we love it.
no, I didn't have no technical issues. You had the technical issues. But anyway, guys, welcome, welcome, welcome to another time of gym time with myself, Debbie, and
Me, Maurice.
so yeah, it is Tuesday and we are back. And last week we was meant to be on, but my flight got delayed, so I was in Switzerland. But I am happy to be on today, and I know that a few people messaged me and told me that they was quite disappointed that we wasn't on last week, because of the title, which is Love, Loss, and Betrayal, and it's really about us looking at how we are going to navigate through the whole, how we're going to overcome these kind of challenges, because everybody experiences love, loss, and betrayal at some point in time, right, Paul?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so tonight we have our special guest on, and she's a really good friend of mine, and I really wanted her to come on and share some of the stuff that she's actually doing, what she's been through, and how she's been able to navigate through certain challenges. So we're going to invite her on in a little while, but before we do that, Paul, go ahead and do your disclaimer.
Disclaimer. Yes. Good evening once again. Right. So my disclaimer, as always, is that we're here to motivate, empower you, encourage you, get you to see things from a different perspective, get you to try different things. Expand your mind, um, to look at things from, as I said, a different perspective. Um, when you try these things that we suggest, even the guests that are on here, this is the one thing I'm asking you. If it don't work, nobody cut we neck. Yeah. Try something else. All we're doing is giving you a push to expand your mind that little bit more, and overcome uh, obstacles and situations that you may find yourself in. Please tell your friends, tell your family, subscribe and like and subscribe. Um, and if you ever have any subjects that you want us to cover, please let us know. My disclaimer.
You're this,
Do
you're
you know
this.
when I go to the gym, right, and I come back, because my body is still recovering, I sound drunk to me, and but it's not. It's just
Slurring.
tired. Yeah.
So I just wanted to say shout out to those that have joined us on Instagram. Hi guys, I'm going to try and be in the chat with you. It's like the whole multitasking thing and looking at the chat over here. If you really want to join us in the chat, most of our chat is here on the YouTube channel. You can find that on the same platform where you are joining us. So that should be Gym Time um on Instagram or on my personal page, Debbie Worrell. You should find the link there to join us on YouTube, and join in the chat, because it's kind of navigating both of them at the moment. So yeah, I am going to do my disclaimer pretty much the same as my brothers. Every week we come on and we really just want to encourage and inspire you to live a really awesome, wholesome life. And I think that just the things that we share on here, some of them are taboo, some of them are not taboo, but we really desire to be really open and transparent with you. And whatever wisdom we share with you, whatever knowledge we share with you, and you try it and it worked for you, please let us know. And those things that don't work, it is what it is. At least you are trying something different to navigate your relationships in a better way. So that's our disclaimer. I say what I do know, I will share with you, and that's me. So, love, loss, and betrayal. Shout out to those that are joining us on YouTube. Let us know where you are joining us from on YouTube. Um, yeah, so love, loss, and betrayal. And we really just want to have a real wholesome conversation. and what that actually looks like for each and every one of us might look differently. How we navigate it certainly will be differently. But I want to bring on a dear friend, Jasnif. She is a phenomenal woman. She has a ministry called Infinite Woman. Actually, she is the Infinite Woman. She has a phenomenal platform. She has a lot of followers. She's got people who really look up to her in a big way. She's a young woman, 5 children, single mother, may I add, for you guys that are out there who is looking for an awesome woman. She's an author, she's a speaker, she's a host, phenomenal host. And I say that she's a comedian. Yeah. All of us that know Jazz know that she's a comedian. She's fantastic. So we are going to introduce her on no other than a Jasnef Richard. Let's give her a round of applause as she comes on.
Yay.
Hello.
Hi guys. Hello.
It's one of those ones where you go,
Girl. Hi everybody. How y'all doing? I hope that you are well. Thank you so much for having me on Gym Time. It is an honor and a privilege to be here with yourself, Debbie, and aka Paul. I was gonna say Maurice, but Paul. I think Paul. Maurice. And yeah, I'm just so honored to be here. Very, very, very tired. I'm not gonna lie, but because this is bedtime, child. Listen, let me tell you something about me. I go to bed extra early, 8 p.m. Try call my phone. This is a big sacrifice. So, but it's such an honor to be here, and thank you for having me.
So, Jazz, the title, Love, Loss, and Betrayal. Tell me what comes to mind when you hear that.
I just think about heartbreak. I think about grief. Think about pain, purpose. So those are the few things that comes to mind with me. Yeah, I think those are the type of things that come to mind. I mean, obviously, you know, I've got a story in that area. But those are the things that come to mind when I think about love, loss, and betrayal. Sorry.
So you know when people say it's better to have loved and lost than not to have loved at all. Do you agree with that
absolutely
thought?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think though sometimes love may come with a bit of heartbreak and pain, I think that it's good for the heart. It stretches the heart, helps the heart to beat. Helps blood to flow around the body, helps you when your blood pressure's rising a bit and you're just like whatever. But I definitely would prefer to love and lost than not loved at all. I couldn't imagine not having that feeling of love.
See, I'm in agreement with you for that, and I was pondering on this because normally I do a little a study, find what people say, but I chose not to this time. I mean, I found something, but I chose not to because I think it's close to home as well. Because men hurt too, you know. Men go through love, loss, and betrayal as well. Whether they admit it or not, we cry, we hurt, we do all the things that are humanistic behavior. You know, whether we do it in front of people or some will harden themselves, but that doesn't mean that you're not hurting or you've not lost. And I just thought the thought that came to my mind when I was thinking about this title, and I think you guys will concur, is that it teaches you when you're loving someone, you're learning something. When you lost someone or they betray you, it will teach you. It's not just you know, there's growth. There should be growth. And even if it takes a long time before you come out of it, you'll come out and there should be growth, a positive growth. Not, I'm never going to trust a woman again. I mean, I trust a man. That's not growth. That's going backwards, you know? So when I looked at myself and I saw myself, I was in that place at one stage that I was just cold, you know, after my love and loss, you know, I had to look at myself closely, and then from that has helped me to grow, because I'm supposed to grow. I'm supposed to learn from the negatives in my life and learn from the positives.
Absolutely. So I wanted Jazz to share some of her story. I want you to share with the listeners kind of who you really are, because I just gave them like a quick breakdown, but I want you to share who you are, what you do, and why you do it. And then I want you to share a little bit of your story and where you are right now.
Before you go into that, Jay, we also will, well, we've got another guest as well. It's our cousin Trevor, and we should have another friend, a friend of mine, close friend, Dennis, that may be joining us from America as well. So, Trevor, we see you. We'll bring you in just a moment. If you be with us as well. So after you finish, Jay.
Go ahead, Jazz.
Right. So, as Debbie says, my name is Jasnev, but I'm also known as the Infinite Woman, which is one of my ministries. And I am a mother of 5, also a grandmother. My grandson is now 3 years old. I know I look like 21, but it's true. I do have 5.
You forgot the baby boy.
Yeah. So, yeah, just I love to create content, just love to use my story to help others. I think that's a big passion of mine. I love to use lessons that I've learned and pass them on to others. So I would say I'm a teacher. I regurgitate information or gain information and then regurgitate it out. So that's one of my strengths, and that's how it's helped to build a lot of the things that I do, because I just want to share. And I would say that one thing about me is very humble, open and transparent. I do like to keep it very 100. And yeah, that's just a little bit about me. I'm also an author. Yeah. I'm an author. But yeah, I'm all over social media, so you can find me there.
And your book is called?
So my first book is called The 10 Factor Mum. And my second book that is coming out soon, July, is called So You Think You're Ready to Court. So really excited.
Where can we find your first book?
So my first book is actually on Amazon, so you can find that there. My second book won't be going on Amazon, but when I get the link, I will definitely share it with you all in terms of how you can purchase the book. So yeah, again, both books have been birthed from painful processes and birthed into purpose. So really, that is the cycle of my life, and just very, very grateful to be able to be used in such a way.
So the reason why I wanted Jazz to come on, because like you just said, Jazz, it's been birthed from a place of pain. It's been challenging. It's been all of the things that people generally don't want to experience in life, but it has stretched you. It has caused you to be a better woman. It has made you dig deep, I think, to really find out who Jazz is and how resilient you actually are. And, you know, I've seen how through this process, how you've grown so much. I wanted you to share a little bit about why you actually did the book. What was the challenges that you actually experienced that brought you to a place where you wrote the book?
Right. So my book that is coming out, So You Think You're Ready to Court, came from the fact that I felt like courtship was quite a quiet time or season or moment in Christianity. I think we also always go to like single events, or you might hear marriage events, but you don't really hear about courtship unless you ask people. And I felt like it was a very hush-hush time where people would only talk about it when they were married, because it felt like it was a time where you felt unqualified to speak because you weren't quite at marriage yet, but then you weren't single. But, you know, I just felt like it was just a very taboo topic. So God gave me a concept to write So You Think You're Ready to Court. And basically, I was in a 4-year courtship. And I was just in the time a few years ago, just from now until then, just jotting down all the little lessons that I was learning about myself. So this is not a book per se about just anything that is to put people off of courting, but more so for them to self-reflect. So it's a self-reflective book. So yeah, that's how I got into that part. And then I had that, as I said, 3 years ago. But I didn't know that it was going to end this way, and that's where we are at now. Where November of last year, my courtship, July of last year, my courtship ended. And in November, I found out on Instagram that my ex-partner of a few months had married somebody else. So that's where everything kind of started and the lessons came from. But as I said to everyone, the book is not even about that. It's about just courtship. My next book gonna be about that though. But
so tell me something.
I was going to come up with a title for that one for you, Jazz.
If for those that don't know what you mean with courtship, for I wouldn't say just non-Christians, because some Christians won't know what that is. Please explain a little bit about courtship.
So courtship is a Christian terminology, which is basically a time where you and a partner have decided that you would like to pursue the options of going into marriage. So you've dedicated yourselves to each other and you're walking towards marriage, basically. Whereas dating, you would say dating is more like you're kind of like collecting data, you're figuring out who is who. But with courting, you've made a definitive decision that this is the person that you would like to move forward with, and you start working towards marriage. Or so I thought.
So you go from dating into courtship.
Yeah.
So
it's an official time. Yeah.
So does that, with the courtship, does that entail everything? So kissing and touching and sex and all that as well?
Oh, well, now you know that though. So you're trying to draw me out to see what
no, I'm not throwing you at
people. But Christianity, yes. According to scripture, one should not have sex before marriage. However, I'm very, very relevant, aware that these things do happen.
Absolutely.
But yes, it's a time where you're supposed to be abstinent. You're supposed to put boundaries in place and just help one another to kind of walk towards courtship, walk in courtship until you're married. So usually you would find people just court for a short amount of time. Because that at that point you've made your decision that this is the person that you want to marry. Yeah.
So why do you think? So why do you think that? Because you said it was like a 4-year courtship. Why do you think that it was lasting that long? Considering you were saying, courtship really is you've made a decision. I want to be with this person, and then we are really looking about getting engaged, getting married, and all of those things. Why do you think that was a long period of time for you?
Well, for me, there's many different denominators, and I will say that every courtship is different. I've had people that have been together for 6-7 years and still do end up getting married and things like that. They may be long distance relationships. They're waiting for visas and things to come through. There's just so many different reasons as to why people have longer courtships than others. Some are really rushing down. They want to have sex quickly. Who knows? But there are people that that things take long. So I wouldn't say per se that it was long for me, but I wouldn't say that it was long for everybody else. Mine was, for me, as I would say, and I would always say, so I thought, because obviously my story is very different, is that there was a lot going on. There was health implications, there were financial implications, there were family issues. There were so many different things that I thought was helping, like allowing me to be like, let this time pass. But in my thought process, I said no longer than 2 years. That was my foundation. So
yeah, because I think that when you've made that decision that you want to be with that person, it's really about navigating through where you're going to be living, finances, work, all of those kind of things. And some people do that during the engagement process, where they're engaged and then they're like, because they're going to get married, they're now navigating all of those things, what they're actually going to do, where they're going to live and so forth. And I think that, do you think that now the society that we're living in, that people just generally want to be dating more, and that courtship is kind of put on the back burner? And if it is courtship, it's like for a very long period of time. What do you think about those two various things?
So courtship, I think, as well, is stretched out in the Christian community because everybody wants these big flashy weddings, let's be honest. And sometimes those are the reasons. They're saving up money, they're doing all this stuff, traditionals, if you're getting married to somebody from a different culture and so forth. But yeah, I just feel like dating, courtship, yeah, they're just, I just, I don't know. I just feel like it's
Beat the thing, talk the talk.
yeah. I just feel like it's an interesting time. I just feel like it's a very interesting time. There are just so many factors to it that it can't just be a kind of one cap fits all.
No, not at all.
Yeah, it's a hard one to answer.
I like to bring in Trevor as well.
I was just going to say, bring in Trevor. Trevor probably's got some questions for Jasneth.
Hey,
Hiya, Trevor. Thanks for joining us today. Where you gone? Eh? Gonna make yourself a cup of tea.
Well, I'll message him anyway. And
did he just say? I thought he just spoke then.
Trev? No.
Okay.
I'll message him
for a moment then. So
I was going to say something. I feel that in these times, even courtship or the dating as well, for some men and some women, they want all the eggs in the basket. So I hear this thing about you need to test the waters just in case, it isn't any good. Sex isn't any good. Or live with each other just in case this and that. And I think that from my perspective, I think it's a smokescreen to get what you really want. I think that some men and women out there, they're hungry. I won't use the word desperation because there are those that are desperate, but I'll just say that their feelings, their sexual feelings is heightened, so some men will say the right things, some women will say the right things in order to get what it is that they're really looking for. Then you've got those that are engaged, and you're engaged until you're old. I mean, old age got walking stick back a hurt child and thing. They've just dragged it on, but yet they've had the best of both worlds. They won't commit wholeheartedly, but they all only commit to a certain point. And from my perspective, one of the things that I'm in agreement with, whether you're a Christian or a non-Christian, I think that you should withhold, not withholding it because I'm being wicked, but I think that you should hold off on the sex and learn about one another. You're dating, you're courting, you're learning about one another. The communication is key. You're going to learn everything in that. If you're just rolling around in bed, every time you get together, how are you? Well, we're getting to know each other, deeply and passionately. Yeah, you are. But what more is there? After all that's gone, then what? You've had the sex, but he don't talk. Well, I'm not really a talker. I'm not really a talker. Yeah, but you're interested in me. Yeah. But I don't really express my feelings like that. No. If you haven't had the coochie, then it means that you can only talk. Yeah. And if he isn't going to wait around for you for that, or he's gone off, or she's gone off, that tells you who the person is. From the Christian value standpoint, yes, if you don't have sex before marriage, that's where it will play its role. And I can see why, and I think that if you're non-Christian and you take these values as well, it will benefit you because, you might say, I'm shooting myself in the foot because I'm hungry as well. But you're not looking, unless you're that type of person, just looking for sex, then you do your thing. But if you have a value of yourself, whether you're a man or a woman, you want to go to the next stages. When I look back in my youth, man, that's the only thing I would change, because you're swapping out. This one didn't work, that one didn't work, but every single time I put that factor in there of having sex. you know, or getting some, and then we're drawn in by that because you feel committed. But if you had no sex, there is no full commitment. You see something and you address it and you don't like it, you can walk away with your integrity, with your head up high, no matter how long you've been dating. You've not given yourself away. Someone's not taken you, and you're free.
Yes.
Yeah. Doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. Doesn't mean that you don't feel the loss, but you don't feel the loss as bad because you've not given yourself to the individuals. That's my personal opinion.
I
Yeah,
agree.
I also think it's about it is that, but I think that it's the time that you spent with somebody. It's like, if you thought that this person was going to be your happily ever after, then it doesn't seem as though that time is, when I say wasted, it's like you spent 4 years with somebody with the intentions to spend the rest of your life with them. And when me personally, thinking about times that I've spent, I'm thinking I could have spent that doing a whole load of other stuff. Do you get what I mean? That's marriage, a child, a home. Do you get what I mean? In a short space of time. So what I wanted to ask you, since the breakup, what are the lessons that you've actually learned that you can say to someone after you've loved and lost? These are the lessons that you can learn, that you can learn to move on with your life.
Well, first of all, before you can even get to the lessons, you have to get through the healing. And I think for me, that was the most prevalent moment for me to get to the place of learning about the lessons that I had learned, because I had to get through that painful part first. And I think, there were 5 things that God said to me that I should do in that season where, I was traumatized. Trauma had hit my life. I felt like, somebody who I had dated for 4 years. We were due to be getting married as far as I was concerned. We were making plans. The person was still in pursuit of me up until September, October, and then November I'm finding out you're married. The maths just wasn't calculating, the equations just weren't going together. So that was a huge shock. And I had always said to people, if he had cheated or like had a baby with somebody, but a whole marriage, knowing that that's why we broke up, because we weren't pursuing to marriage, was very painful to me, So I had to go through a season of healing, and the 5 things God told me to do was, 1, to stay silent. Because in terms, when you're very much in pain, you can want to just scream from the rooftops, like when you buck your toe on the side of the bed and you just scream out because it hurts. That was something that I had to do for quite a while, stay silent. There were people that I spoke to, but not him individually. God told me to stay completely silent. And also not to react. If any of you don't know me, back in the day, it would have been something completely different. But I had to decide not to react. I wanted to take a baseball and smash his car, but what's that going to do for me at the end of it? So I had to really follow instructions. I also had to be accountable. The 3rd thing was to be accountable. Debbie was one of my accountability partners, people who I could speak to, that when I did feel like I wanted to smash his car, I could call them and let them know how I was feeling. Or when I had moments where I just was grieving or really sad, I could speak to people about it. Or where there were times where I just didn't want to get up, I could speak to people about it. I think it's really important to be accountable. And then 4thly, God spoke to me about that my emotions are okay. It's okay to be emotional, but it's what you do with it that makes a difference. So crying, doing all the stuff that you need to do, even being angry or whatever, the feeling is okay, but it's what you do with the feeling that counts. And that's something I had to really work through. And it, again, intertwines with my accountability partners. And then the last thing God encouraged me to do was keep believing. Just because the very thing that you saw or was in didn't go the way that you thought it would go, doesn't mean that the promise doesn't still stand. And I know that God has told me that I will be married, and I have to keep on believing. I still believe in love. I love love. I really do love love. And I can't allow the actions of somebody else to stop me from gaining what God
Absolutely.
has for me, because they've decided to make a decision that, you know, was out of their own self and gain. So I think that was my process. And then I could get into the life lessons, which were, you know, number one, being very self-reflective about oneself, recognizing areas that I could have done better in, but not using those areas as reasonings as to why the person has done what they've done, or allowing those reasonings to justify what was done, you know. So really just self-reflecting on myself, because as Debbie was talking about earlier, nothing is wasted. Everything has a lesson, or, you know, you're learning something, as Maurice said, and, you know, learning to also value myself. I think that was something that I realized. I'm quite a confident person as far as I'm concerned, but when it came to love, I realized that there was some insecurities there, and I had to really actually look at myself and value myself and think, why is it that you stayed so long? Why did you make certain decisions? What was it about you? And I think it boils back down to the fact that I am a single mother of five. And sometimes you have these thought processes, and people have even said that to me, like, who's going to have you with your five children, and this, that, and the other. Because when you have lots of children, it looks like people deem it as baggage. But in actual fact, it's actually not baggage, it's blessings. And those things that come with me are things that are, you know, to have me and my children is a bonus. That's what you need to understand.
Absolutely.
And that's something that I needed to walk confidently in, no matter what anybody said. So yeah, there were a lot of things that I have learned, but those are the things that you'll see in my book when it comes out as well.
And
No
that's what
shame.
I'm looking forward to. Thanks for sharing that, Jazz, and sharing it so eloquently. That's what I'm looking forward to, because I know you personally. I know that I've been on you with you on the journey, and I think that what people tend to look at is how beautiful you look now and how eloquently you're speaking, and not really understanding that you had choices. You had choices how you was going to navigate through this.
Surely
And
will.
I'm telling you, like, and that's what I've admired, that you made the decision to do what I consider to be the right thing and walk this thing out, because that, you say, expedited your healing. You know, it also is giving you the ability to be reflective and look at who you are, and the challenges that you was experiencing internally that you wouldn't have probably known that you was experiencing, and you would have taken that into a marriage, to be quite honest. But now, because you've been self-reflective and you can say, do you know what, these were my insecurities, these were my fears, these were my doubts, these were my worries. Now you have time to work
These were my flaws.
to deal with those, and then go into a whole marriage being whole, you know. Whereas if you didn't have this time to reflect and to do that, you probably would have brought that into the marriage, and, you know, only God knows what has happened. But I think that it's important to realize that there is a healing process. It is necessary for you to have the right people around you that you are going to be accountable to, that you are going to be able to really express yourself and be able to cry, and people's not going to judge you. People's not going to look at you in a way like, you know, why didn't you see that? Why didn't you hear that? What, you know, because ultimately all of us are going to make decisions that is going to impact upon our life one way or the other, you know, good, bad, and indifferent. And you know, I said it to Jazz. I felt like she what is the word? She dodged the bullet. Felt like, you know, this could have been catastrophic, you know, if she had gone down that route. That's just my opinion. And for all I know, it could be at that time, you know, you going down the route at that time with that person. Who knows? It could be that person 5 years from now. Only God knows. But I think that dodging a bullet, being in a situation where you was planning, maybe not like, oh, what, we've got a date and so forth, but in your minds, and you've made that decision, and then it doesn't come to fruition. And to see the woman that you are now, and what I just think is phenomenal is the fact that out of this, not that the book wasn't there, because the book was there, but I think that the lessons that you've learned with God planting that seed in your heart is just brought this to fruition. And I just think that it's phenomenal. So we did ask people if they wanted to ask you questions. I've heard, what did she say? Have you heard of a word called, what is that? Sapiosexuality?
Sapiosexuality. A person sexually attracted to intelligence or the human mind. You know, she's on something right there.
You are,
That
child. That's what I think.
that was what I was. Yeah. If I met a woman and she had intelligence about her, you know, she was on my level and we were just vibing. All of a sudden, I was attracted to that person, and some of those people was not supposed to be my sexual buddies, but moreover, there was something in me that I had to give to them for them to rise to another level in themselves. That's what I've come to understand. And you know, some have come back and said to me, "Thank you." You know, I know that didn't work with us, but yet you impacted my life by speaking into my life, so I had value for myself. I was looking at the relationship that I had before, and those that were broken up, and then here came me. You know,
Go on, tell on yourself.
No, I don't feel no way because I don't live that life no more. Do you know what I mean? You know.
So I wanted to say this. So what was that one? So she said, I was kissing Jasmine. Sorry you experienced that.
Yeah, someone asked after that, was he a Christian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's in inverted commas, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they were. I thought, or they are. I don't know. Maybe
only them and God knows.
Only them God knows. But yeah.
Sonia says, amazing story. Wow, I feel your pain. Any more there, Paul?
No, there wasn't.
Oh, so Trafford Boss, he was explaining what that actually meant. So Jazz, I know that it's gone past your bedtime now. So I just wanted to ask you any final words for those that are listening, because you know, we've got some listeners on there, but there are going to be people that's listening to the replay, and I really want you to just deposit something that you really think that the listeners would need to know about love, loss, and betrayal, and how I know that you said how you've navigated it, but what would be your final words for somebody that is navigating that right now?
The message will never change, that all things work for the good of those who love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. I believe that everything works for our good. And I remember I said this the other day, and someone was like to me, so are you saying that God does everything if you get, you know, assaulted, or if you this, or if you that? And I said to them, look, at the end of the day, there are things that are going to happen to us. We are tested by God, and we are tempted by the enemy. Tested by God, tempted by the enemy. And I said to them that there are going to be things that the enemy does, but God is going to use it for our good. And it's not some things, it's not most things, it's all things work for our good.
Absolutely.
So everything that I've been through up to this date, and even the courtship and the breakdown, and even how I saw it on Instagram, and how I dealt with it, and how the book has come out, I wouldn't be here right now without, if I had gone another route. I wouldn't be able to have this story right now if I had gone the way that my flesh would have gone. But I believe that all things work for the good. Absolutely. Whatever timing it was, even if it was later on down the line, that could have been me in a marriage and he's probably married to someone else too. We just don't know how deep it could have got. So I want to encourage you that if you've gone through heartache, if you've gone through pain, know that even if you're not on the other side, that it is going to work out for your good. And we're going to look back and think, wow, imagine in 2024, I was broken, but now I am purposed and I'm walking in the calling of God in 2025 or whenever. And, you know, you're just sitting there thinking, wow, I now see why God had to split this thing apart in order for him to bring me back to where he wants me to be.
Just before you go, there are some questions, but I was gonna say to you, I have 5 children, who are my blessings. I'm glad. I love being a dad. I love being a dad, and I love being a hands-on dad as well. That I'm in their lives, not just having 5 children, and I can say, "Me have 5 children," and I don't do anything with them.
Right.
And I thought, who's gonna want me when I had 2? Who's gonna want me when I have 3? Who's gonna want me when I had 4? But who's gonna want me definitely if I got 5 children and 4 mums? Yeah, 2 failed marriages and traumas that only I knew I had, you know. But I'm happily married. It has its trials like any.
Of
But
course.
I've been married 10 years now. Yeah. So God is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that you can think and you can imagine, you know.
Amen.
And yes, it is a journey. And yes, like I said earlier, I use an analogy, and the analogy that I use is a plug. In the plug, you have the live and you have the negative. Yeah, the two of them work together. You take one out and plug in and see if it works.
Right.
Yeah. Take out the live and leave the negative. See if it works. Take out the negative and leave the live and see if it works. There is a balance in loss, heartbreak, traumas. There is a balance, but you have to have faith to know you're going to come through that. You got to learn about what did I contribute towards this, and how am I going to grow past this now, and how do I let go of this? And sometimes it's just letting go, changing your mindset. I'm not going to let this dwell in my mind on a constant basis. You know, it's all right to talk about it and reflect, but if you're talking about it and you're reflecting on the pain and the anguish and you're living it all over again, then you can't. It's when you can talk about it and there's nothing, you can laugh at it, you can look at it, you can spin it around, it can come in your face, and you can still say, you know what? I'm glad for the journey. You know, I didn't like the pain at the time.
So glad that I was afflicted. Because, you know, I just wouldn't be where I am now. I really wouldn't. I'm so grateful, honestly.
Yeah. And it's crazy when you say that you're grateful, because people like, and I've been there where I've been stuck in my emotions and the pain has been real and intense, and it's made me act wild, just wild out. But at the end of it, when you do that, you are still back at the same place. You haven't grown, you haven't advanced. And I've learned a better way how to deal with challenges. And even though the challenges are there, as painful as it will be, I am grateful that I don't while out. I'm grateful that I do things differently. And I think that those who, you know, try and deal with their pain through illicit sex, drugs, mash up the place, whatever it is, you know, there is a better way. And the better way is to really humble yourself, to go in on yourself, do that self-reflection and allow yourself to heal from that pain and have the right people around you. I think that is key. But before we go, we're just gonna
can I just throw something in there? Yeah, we'll do that and you can answer quickly. It's I think it's just 10 things that I found. Remind yourself of your strengths when you're feeling low. And if you are low and you don't know your strengths, look in yourself. You have them. You have strength. Reflect on what you've learned. It's number 2. Tell yourself it's not your fault, especially if it isn't your fault. If this is what they're saying, if you know you contributed to it, own it. Own it. That's what I would say. Not just tell yourself that it's not my fault. I think partly it can be when you delay the inevitable. Yeah, that's my personal. Turn to friends and family for support, like what you're saying. Make a list of the negative parts of the relationship. That I'm on a seesaw on that one, because then when you're making a list of these negative things, I think it can pull you down. That's, again, I'm reading from WikiHow. Yeah. So if it's still hurting you that much, I don't think you should make a list, because you might find yourself with a chopper in your hand and you're going around her or his yard for chop them up, you know. Forgive the other person so you can move on. That is key. Yeah. To forgive. What they did, they did. What can you do to change it? One of my mantras that I use, I don't really like using the word mantra, is that what you can change, you'll change. And what you can't change, you have no control over it. So why you're stressing yourself over what you can't change?
Right. And why would you want that thing that has been removed from you? Why would you want to chase that?
Absolutely.
Exactly. And remove any painful reminders of your ex. like a fire in the back garden, and fling the clothes and fling the pictures, yeah, and dance around it.
Well, that one's hard because the individual lives right opposite me at the bottom of my road. So sometimes you can't.
They say get into a routine. No, hey, listen, God can't do anything, you know. Translate him over there, you know.
Sing our songs.
Distract yourself with hobbies you love. And the last one, exercise to feel physically and mentally better. And I agree with that one, the exercise. Oh gosh, cut off all contacts with your ex, at least for now. Ever. No, not really. Give yourself time to get over it. Reach out again if you want to stay. No, what? Listen, I ain't gonna read no more of this. I didn't read this before. Reach out again if you want to stay friends. I don't want to be your friend, and it's not bitterness. I don't want to be your friend. I thought we were friends. Yeah. Until you play it up.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna read anymore. We'll go to the question right quickly, for you to answer. No, not that one. Not that one.
No, that was the one. That was the one. You just took it off the screen.
Oh,
were there any signs of him cheating?
This is for you. This is for you, Jazz.
Yeah, I was
okay.
He married.
Yeah. On reflection, probably, maybe, I don't know. I mean, you know, with all due respect, I don't really feel grace to go into full details of it because, as I said to everyone, I'm not here to bash my ex, you know, and so forth. But I definitely feel like there were things that were quite deceitful. And looking back, I can understand as to why certain actions were the way they were. And you could have these epiphanies like, okay, so that's why this, that, and the other. But all I will say is that, you know, they were said that it was quick. It was a whirlwind romance. It was, and I've heard of these things before. You're in a rocky patch, people meet someone, they tickle your fancy, you know, the honeymoon period, and then you lot are doing whatever you lot need to do. People move fast these days. They want things quick. They think that that's gonna plug the pain of whatever's happening elsewhere, and this is where people go wrong, and then you end up finding that it was only a honeymoon period and that it was just a phase. Not saying that that's what's going to happen with them, but I've seen it in life.
I have someone close to me that's exactly what you went through.
Wow.
They were playing it. They met the family. They got together and they're setting the date. Yeah, and then all of a sudden they're sitting down in front of a pastor, and pastor, he's telling pastor, no, we weren't doing it. No, I didn't do that. And then married somebody else. Yeah. just like that. Yeah. And made
But the
made
thing is,
her look like she was mad, chasing him
Like she
down.
was mad,
Yeah.
right.
But he went, and that dissolved anyway.
But you know what I wanted to say? I wanted to say, one, that's another thing that I love about you guys. She's not anything. She's very realistic in terms of, you know, how things went, and literally looking at it from a perspective of this, that is what it was, this is what this is right now, and this is how she's navigating it. And it's not about sharing all of the details. And what she's doing is being obedient to what God has told her to be, you know. And I think that there's so much integrity in that, but also the fact that because somebody marries quickly doesn't necessarily mean that they was cheating, but you can look back and see all manner of things that will make you think that they was. Because if you put your mind in that frame, like if that person got married so quickly, then this must have been the case. Then you're gonna see lots of different things that is gonna say, yeah, you know, when that happened, I wonder if this happened. And so I think that it's one of those things that this is what it is. And whatever was, if there was anything or wasn't anything, this is just exactly what it was. It could have been a 2-month. I know somebody that
this is what it became.
Met somebody, married them in 2 months. And I mean, they're married now probably like 7-8 years or whatever period of time, not because there was a betrayal on the other side, but they just met somebody. Do you get what I mean? They're married in a short space of time. And I think that right now we've been dealing with, or not dealing with, we've been talking about kingdom marriages, about men and women who are in alignment with God's purpose and plan, that they're not going to be sitting down waiting all 6, 9, 8, 9, 10 months.
Right, there you go.
They're going to be marrying very quickly because God would have been working on him over here. God would have been working on her over there. They meet each other, kingdom purpose. We're going to just hit the ground running. Do you get what I mean? Right. So, you know, they can always be speculation.
You know them by their fruit.
Absolutely.
So with this situation, you're not going to see that was fruit. Not that the relationship that he's in is not fruitful, but the way in which you did it wasn't fruitful.
Absolutely.
So, you know, these are things that, you know, you have to take heed. Like, you can't just exit a relationship for X amount of years and then enter into another one and then expect that everything is going to disappear and you're just going to live happily ever after. You have to deal with some of the you know what, something I read the other day and it made so much sense. It says that repentance does not mean that you won't have consequences.
Absolutely.
And it really stuck to me. I was just like, I could do something, I could repent for it, but I'm still going to have to deal with the consequences.
Absolutely.
You know,
100%.
So, you know,
yeah. So Jazz, like I said, I think I said it about 10 minutes ago, that it's gone past your bedtime. I just need to say that who's playing with the screen? Is that you, Paul?
No, I'm going to put it on. I know you were going to do it.
Leave it alone.
You know, we're in sync. Yeah, you
leave it alone. Yeah, go on, put it up. So
thank you for answering.
You put it up. I'm going to read
way
it.
You are.
This brother of mine.
It's too late. you know what? You put it up. You put it up.
I'm going to put it up and I'm going to read it. Thank you for answering, Jazz. This is what Just Serenity Wellness says. Thank you for answering. Your strength and the way you are sharing your growth is amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Thank you so much.
And I think that those that are going to be listening to a replay, I think that, you know, you emanate that strength and the resilience and having the ability to navigate it and explain how you've been navigating it is absolutely phenomenal. And I just really wanted you to share the book that you have coming out and how people can actually reach you in order to connect with you, because there might be people that want to know about Infinite Woman and what else you're actually doing out there.
So the best thing for you to do is find me at She Is Jasneth on Instagram, and everything that I'm doing is there or linked in the bio. So it's She Is and then my name, Jasneth. Or you can just put Jasneth because I'm sure I'm the only one on Instagram. So you can find that. Just type my name in, or just type my name in Google. You'll find everything there. Honestly, you will. My book, my blogs, my YouTube channel, etc. Everything is there. So thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you're
Please
welcome.
come again.
My
Please come again.
Now I'm going my bed.
And you know what? I will be bringing you back on when there is engagement and marriage. Let me just put my hair behind my ears.
Yeah,
As Jasmine does.
I'm still believing in love. I'm telling you, God is not a man that should lie. So I'm looking forward to the man that God has for me, and I believe that he is going to have a better version of who I am. So it's going to be a great.
Absolutely, I like that.
So
well, Trevor, you there now?
The words I would like to use is graceful and thank you, and I will drop the info in the chat for those who want to follow Jasneth.
Oh, you're gonna do it, Debbie. You're gonna drop it in there.
Yep, I will do that.
Okay,
I will do that. Or I might
thank you
a link.
very much.
Thank you so much, Jazz. You've been
thank you. So shall I exit stage left? Yeah.
Yeah, we will. We will.
All right, I'll be listening. My bedtime listen.
All right then. You take care. Bye bye.
All right then. Thank you for having me. Take care. Bye bye.
So, Trevor, can you hear us?
I can't believe it.
I can hear you, but I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, we can actually hear you. Thanks for joining us.
So you can hear me now.
Sorry we couldn't hear you at all before. But
it wouldn't allow me to come on.
Sorry, say that again.
The settings wouldn't allow me to come on. No microphone, no video, no nothing.
All right, you're here now, so you could hear what we was talking about, right?
Yeah, I wanted to butt in, but I'm thinking, come on, thing work.
So what are your thoughts, Trevor? Love, loss, betrayal. What are your thoughts? And was there anything that Jasneth said that stood out to you? And anything? Yeah, was there anything that?
Or anything you want to add?
Well, pretty much most of how we all can feel from time to time depends on.
Oh, it's breaking up.
To go and get married and make your life
together. The mic you got there.
Is your mic working?
You're just cutting out for some of what you're saying.
Oh, this thing is up.
No, we can hear you now.
You can hear me now. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was saying that. What's her name now? Jasneth. Jasneth. That's
Jasneth.
Jasneth. I like that. Yeah, what she was saying. A lot of it has been said over time, especially when you meet somebody and you think, right, okay, this is the person, and sometimes men and women go into a relationship and they may be a bit cautious at first and feel like they're walking on eggshells and have to put their best feet forward, and you know, eventually by the time you start getting used to the person and you're thinking, yeah, I like this person, I think I can see my rest of my life with this person, and sometimes it works out, sometimes it don't. I mean, I was betrayed in my marriage, whereby 1 week after I said I had enough and I'm gonna go.
Your volume's gone again. We can't hear you, Trev. All right. Well, Trevor's having some technical issues. But we'll try and get Trevor on again at a different time. If not in the next couple of minutes.
I wanted to share
My
this.
fun.
Sorry, I think
Go
Trevor's
ahead.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to share this because I think that
Hold on 1 second, Trevor.
so I was reading some stuff from Healthline, and it said why betrayal can cause trauma and how to start healing. And it says here any betrayal can cause emotional distress, but you might experience lingering trauma when someone you depend on to respect your needs and help safeguard your well-being violates your trust. Yeah. And I think that people sometimes probably don't understand how traumatic betrayal and the love and the loss can actually have on someone. I mean, we know that there are people that is so traumatic that they've taken their own lives. Let
Yeah.
us not really
Mm.
belittle it. It can be that traumatic for
It is
people
serious. It can be
because
very
they,
serious.
they have an expectation. They've got a whole world that they've built with that person, or going to build with that person. There's so much that can happen to someone emotionally that it's so overwhelming that they're not able to come back from it. And so when we see people like Jasmine, that's why I mentioned earlier on, we're looking at her, she looks well put together, she's articulating her words. You can't see the trauma, you can't see the wounds, you can't see any of that. And I will say, as a testament to Jasmine, that is, she's allowed God in to do that work on her. And there are people who are not Christians. There's people who are Christians and haven't been able to navigate through those challenges and allow God to really heal their heart in a way that they can speak like how Jasmine was speaking, and sharing her part of her story. And so I really wanted to say, for those people who have experienced the betrayal and the loss of a loved one, that if you need any support, if you need any help, please inbox us, and we will either signpost you or help you on your journey of healing, because it's not as clean, it's not as easy as it sometimes can seem. And I've experienced that on many levels, and it's only really by the grace of God that I've been able to navigate through such a traumatic time. So I really just wanted to put that out there before we wrap up this evening.
Like me, I was quite devastated, and I used that because I was quite young, with my breakup, because I only knew how to love and not hate and all that, and it lingered on for so long, my hope that it was. And suicide visited me many times, and I say it like that, it was like, what am I living for, what am I living for, what am I living for? But I knew why. I'm living for, at the time, I'm living for my children, and so I think what I did as well, as much as I dived into my children, that became a barrier for me to deal with the trauma that was in me.
Yeah.
So sometimes you can have these hobbies and everything, but you need to address the trauma, the loss and the betrayal, of the person that you love. You need to address that. Jumping from one partner to another for them to replace the pain, it doesn't work.
Absolutely.
I'm a testament to that. It does not work.
And you end up bleeding out on people because you're not healed.
Oh gosh, you bleed out on that person, and you might even toughen up yourself and you say, "Cha, you know what? This ain't working." Boom, you're gone. You've broken someone's heart because they were investing in you, but you got into it thinking you're going to invest. You saw something that you didn't like, and you're walking out on them. And whether it's true what you see or excuses, for me, I was just self-medicating by, not that I never cared about these people, but it was self-medicating at the same time for me, because And as soon as something came up, it just blew me up even more. And all I could see was the trauma, the hurt, the loss from before, and this, to get out. And I saw betrayal, little things that you've done, and then I get out, and then I'm in with someone else, and I needed to. I think meeting my wife now, I was able to, through God's grace, find a stillness in myself. I know what we went through in this marriage. I was able to see myself and grow and understand me more, and why I did the things that I did back then, and why I won't do it for the future. That was the way I started to grow, by self-awareness, and I had to change my mentality from short term to long term. I had to change my mentality from single-mindedness to marriage. Yeah, being a married man, I'm not single-minded. That doesn't go and doesn't not visit you,
Yeah.
but you make a choice. If you choose to marry somebody, it isn't optional just to jump out because you didn't like something the way that it was going, because that's what I did. Because you only go and find somebody else and jump out of that as well. Or you say, I'm not going to be with anybody.
Yeah.
I'm not going to commit myself to somebody.
I think that it's necessary, if, like, even though that guy has married someone else, I think that you being in a 4-year courtship with someone, I can't see why you would go with someone so quickly if you wasn't just self-soothing. You've probably convinced yourself the reasons why you've left, and now this person is here, and this person seems like a better person, that's going to do all of these amazing things for you, but you haven't had no time to really,
you haven't had that investment that you had before.
you haven't had that time to self-reflect, and get your footing right. Do you get what I mean? Before going into another relationship. And it will be very difficult, because one thing that you can experience is healing in a relationship with a person who's going to give you the ability to have that space to heal, and who's going to be empathetic, who's going to be able to. I listen to a podcast. I listen to their Future Wifey podcast every so often, and I was listening to one this morning, and they was the guy, his partner was very wounded, had come from a really traumatic breakup and all the rest of it. But she went into the relationship expressing this to him, and he was willing to come alongside her and help in that healing. And so where you're saying that you got married and you're married to Catherine, you never went in there completely whole, but she was able to be there to support you so that you can
Absolutely, that's what I was going to say.
Relationship. And that's where the Bible says that us as women are a helpmeet to our husband, because we are there to help and to support them. But equally, the husband needs to be there to help and support the wife in her healing process. And it doesn't mean that, everybody's going to come together and everything is just going to be fantastic. But that healing process can actually work when you're in a relationship, if you're with the right person and they're willing to work with you for all your faults and all your failures, and you can navigate that relationship. But I think you going from one person into another relationship without having that space to heal, I don't think that that's good. I think that you definitely need time and space to be able to self-reflect and to heal from that relationship. Because I'll tell you something, even though you will have somebody who has moved away, so you've got the person you've got the two people that's in a relationship, and then you've got an individual that says, I don't want to be in this relationship anymore. So whether you courting or whether you are married, yeah, there is going to be a separation. And if you've got something that is stuck together for a while, you pull it away and see if you're not going to get residue on both sides. You're gonna have
Yeah.
residue on both sides.
There's an indentation.
There's you're detaching yourself from somebody who you was attached to, and so there is going to be residue over here, and it's going to take a while for that residue to come off. Do you get what I mean? It's not going to come off straight away, and so that's what I mean when
Yeah.
you need to take time to heal, because both people will be wounded. That guy is wounded, he's hurting, he's broken as well. Do you get what I mean? The fact that he did what he did tells me that he's wounded, tells me that he's broken, tells me that he needs
Absolutely.
to heal. So
But
both people are experiencing things. It's going to be on probably different levels, but one is sitting in their pain and allowing God to heal that pain, and another person, in my estimation, is self-soothing with somebody else who is coming alongside them and saying, there, I'm going to love on you, I'm going to do all of these things to make
and
you.
who knows if she knows all of this as well. I mean, they may not, whatever else. But what I find as well is that there's a lot of men, and I speak for men because I speak to a few men, that are in denial,
Mhm.
of having any kind of traumas. There are women like that as well, but they deny it. No, I'm all right. I'm all right.
Yeah.
I'm cool. No, man. But
Yeah.
it's your behavior, it's your
Mhm.
mindset, it's the things that you're doing that will indicate that you are in pain
You
or you
are.
have some trauma.
Mhm.
You can't. When my first wife and I came apart, I didn't know my left and the right because I'd invested my heart in what I thought was going to work. 6 months meeting somebody and then getting married, just like it could work if your
Absolutely.
values are the same. Yeah. But I came with what little trauma that I had at the time, because it was little trauma, you know, um, that, and she came with her traumas. She may deny having any kind of traumas, but now that I'm grown and I can reflect and be analytical, I can see,
Mhm.
clearly that you had yours too, by words that you would say and words that I was saying that would indicate traumas in the relationship.
Mm.
So coming away from that, I never healed. I never healed at all. I just relationship, married again. That person had their traumas, I had my traumas, and two traumatized people coming together was a disaster because there was no growth, and there was no self-reflection. There was no communication about the pain and the anguish that we would feel inside, and the distrust happens, and the accusations, and everything would just come together.
Mhm.
Infidelity, it's a mess.
Mhm.
So you got to get that time to grow. I thank God for my wife that I have had time to grow. Each time when I hear her singing um, songs of worship, each time that I might hear her praying, it really soothed me, made me challenge myself as well.
Mm.
And if you don't have a spiritual mindset, or you haven't grown up with that type of um, or have that type of background, it's never too late to learn.
Mhm.
You say, where do I go? The first place to go is literally prayer. Talking to God. People can say, go to this church, or go to that building, and go to this, and join this, or join this religion. Or the first place really is being still and acknowledge that there is a creator out there. And that's where it first starts, by being honest. You might feel like you're talking to yourself, but my experience, when I was once there and didn't know anything, that's the first place that I started, because I wanted to know if he was real.
Mhm.
And that's where the journey starts. because it really does work. It really is healing. Um, God will bring people around you that will help you, believe it or not, take you to the place where you ought to be as well. So that's my final word on for tonight as well.
Yeah, I wanted to read this because I think that when I asked the question at the top of the show, where I said that is it better to have loved and lost than not to have loved at all? And I found this quote by Abraham Lincoln, and it says, "We can complain because rose bushes have thorns, or rejoice because thorn bushes have roses." And I really like that because a lot of times people speak about the pain of falling out of love or somebody betraying them and all the rest of it. But the fact of the matter is, the thorn bush has roses. You can look at it and complain and say the rose has thorns, but you can also look at it and say, you know, I
Ain't that a
rejoice because
beautiful
the thorn
rose?
bush actually have roses.
Mm.
So yeah, I thought that was an awesome way to put it. And that's how it is in every relationship. You're going to experience the rose and the thorns, but it's whether you're looking at the thorns that are on attached to the rose, or whether you're looking at the rose that is there, you know, that just so happens
Absolutely.
thorns.
It goes back to what I said. I'm and Jasnef as well said it. I'm grateful for the journey. You know,
Yeah.
I have no animosity with any of my exes. I don't feel any pain. You know, if I see them, you know, it's not. I don't think my heart don't skip a beat. I don't. I don't think, Ed, or what if. I'm grateful for the time. I'm grateful for them being who they were. That has brought me to who I am now.
Absolutely. And so yeah, that's
That's
that
another.
was
That's another.
my final word, ending it on the rose. And yeah, I hope that this has been beneficial for those of you out there. Again, you can catch Jasnif Richards at She Is Jasnif on Instagram, and her book that is coming out soon. I think she said so you
The
think.
links are on there.
Yeah, she will have all of that on her Instagram page, her blog, her YouTube, all of those things. She's doing amazing stuff. And and may I add, she is my host for your gospel night as well. So if you want to see more of Jasnith, come down and see us at Brixton at the Ritzy. This is me advertising. Brixton at the Ritzy for your gospel night, a phenomenal night of entertainment, inspiration and upliftment. And she hosts it, and she is a phenomenal host. And that's on the 3rd of July.
Where can they get tickets, or for those that
So
are over
again,
here?
follow me on Instagram. It's Debbie Worrell everywhere. It will definitely lead you to Your Gospel Night. I've got a Your Gospel
That,
Night page on Instagram, but we've had challenges with the back office in regards to that. So I haven't been able to upload anything on there. But yeah, if you follow
so is
me,
that WORRELL?
yeah, as it's written
In
on the
case,
screen.
yeah, Worrell.
Yeah. So yeah, just hit me up, or you can go on to the Ritzy and Brixton website. You will see the flyers on there, on the what's on page. You'll be able to see us on there also. So yeah, we will look forward to seeing you guys down there if you want to join us and see Jasnif in person. She's phenomenal. So yeah, that's it for tonight. And all being well, we'll have another hot topic for you next week. And again, if there's any topics that you really want us to cover, yeah, that's kind of taboo, or just subject matters, we're cool to do them. We like to do a bit of research. We like to bring in the information, even if it's not from our own personal experience. We will do enough research so that we'll give you some good, valuable advice and information. So yeah, what did she say?
This
This
was
is
a next great topic. I loved it. Very, very interesting. But I'm too shy to talk. See you both next week. Well done. You know, the thing is that like Trevor, you don't have to turn on your camera. if that's not what you feel like you want to do, you can talk in the background. Michael, you make me laugh. What about boring partners? Yeah.
That's a good topic.
If you want to come on and talk
I know
about
he doesn't have a boring
partners.
partner. That's what's really funny about it. His partner's not boring, not personal experience.
No, not but he says not personal experiences. Yeah?
I know, but yeah, it's
we
true.
You know, Jack, she's full of life. I know
Yeah,
she is.
far from,
I tell you what,
boring,
Michael,
but that is a good subject.
If you want to, because we can, yeah, because as I thought about it, it took me somewhere else, loads of different places, really. But you have to come on, yeah. He had one so.
You
Are
got
you willing to come?
like,
Do you want us to do it next week? When are you available to do that? Yeah, because you need to come on, even though she was fit.
yeah, can you imagine? She's fit,
he had one once, even though she was fit. She's boring. Yeah. See, this can go somewhere. Yeah? And I can relate to this as well.
I know,
but
because people
when are
stay
you?
with people for reasons, different reasons.
Yeah, when are you able to come on, Michael? Yeah, just drop it in the chat, and then we'll close off.
Or message us.
Or message me on WhatsApp. Yeah, and we'll definitely do that one. This one will be a funny one as well. Someone commented to me about that as well, Debbie. That one of the shows that not, I think it was last week or the one before. That they said you guys were just had a great time laughing. You guys were just laughing.
What was that topic? Oh, was that the short man one?
It might have been. It might have been the short man one. But yeah. All right, Michael, message me WhatsApp. Yeah. And we'll arrange it. Okay. He says, I'm sure the ex
I'll be safe.
Isn't around. I'll be safe. You'll never name names anyway. She'll know who she is, and you definitely know who she is.
We try not to go down the naming and shaming route, but yeah, that would be a really fun topic, to be quite honest. But yeah, thanks once again, guys, and please share with your family, friends, colleagues, and so forth, so that we can get our algorithm going. And also, if you can just subscribe. Yeah, some of you have been shacking up with us for quite a while. You know, it'll be good if you can subscribe. So with that being said, we are going to sign out for tonight, and we will catch you next week. So Paul, you got any final words while I just
good night, and God bless you all, and keep you that you wake up to see another day, because tomorrow isn't promised. So take care, everybody. Enough love. Bye for now.